If you've been spending hours generating ad copy variations for your Facebook and Instagram ads only to find that they aren't converting as well as you'd hoped, stop and watch this video. I put together this video to show you my own process for generating multiple ad copy variations that I test in my own campaigns and what I do for my clients as well. Now, the tool that I use is something called AnyWord. AnyWord is an artificial intelligence copywriting tool that helps me not only bust out my ad copies in mere minutes, but also gives me the confidence that the copies that I'm using are based on real data, and so I know that they're going to work. So if you haven't watched my previous video in this series, I would highly suggest going back, watching that video first so you know how AnyWord works, and then jump back in here and watch me bust out these ad copy variations for my own campaign from start to finish in 20 minutes. Let's go. Okay, so here we are on the AnyWord homepage. So I'm going to go ahead and log into my account. Now, before I go ahead and create a new project, let me show you where you can plug in certain words that you don't want appearing in any of your content because maybe those words don't really go well with your content in general. Or in my case, since I work with clients and I produce Facebook ads, I want to make sure that certain words that I know that the Facebook algorithm looks for and doesn't like very much, I want to make sure that those words don't appear in my ad copy at all. So let me show you where you can plug that in. If you go up here to the top right where it shows you your email, I'm going to click on it and go to account settings. So at the bottom here, you're going to see this little section called blacklisted words. This is where you can plug in the words that you want to exclude from all of your projects and from all of the copy that AnyWord produces for your account. So I have this little cheat sheet here, so I'm going to go ahead and put them in one by one. You'll want to make sure to do this one by one because unfortunately commas don't seem to work very well when plugging keywords and blacklisted words into AnyWord. So I'm going to put these last ones in, and feel free to grab any of these words for your own blacklist as well, especially if you're writing Facebook ads, because Facebook is never very happy when any of these words show up in either your ad copy or any of your landing pages. So keep that in mind because your Facebook algorithm is also scanning through any external website or landing page that you're taking your audience to after they click on your ad. And I'm almost done. Now there are a few more things that I like to avoid in my ad copy in general. So things like you and your. Now I don't avoid those words completely, but I try and keep them to a minimum because Facebook is looking for any mention of personal attributes. And when you say a lot of you and your, the algorithm tends to think that you are calling out people's personal characteristics. So you want to be careful about that one. The other thing you want to be careful about is using any sort of specific numbers when it comes to income or revenue or profit or weight loss. So those are the things that you want to keep in mind, but those numbers could be anything, and Facebook doesn't like any of those numbers when it's coming across as more of a guarantee or a promise or a false promise, right? So you want to make sure not to include any of those words in your ad copy as well, but since I can't really put in every single number here, it wouldn't make sense anyway. I'm going to leave it at this, and the rest I'm just going to be smart about. So now that I'm done with this, I am going to go back here, and there's no save button, but if you go back into your account settings, you'll see that those words are saved in there. So do the exit button, and now let's go ahead and create our new project. I'm going to say add, and in this, I'm actually going to do one for my program. So talk to the bot program. This is in the marketing and advertising industry. Now here is where I can plug in my landing page. And so I'm going to simply plug in the URL to my landing page. Now it's checking my page to make sure that it's being able to grab content. I have actually accidentally, honestly, but I have in the past plugged in a landing page that had nothing but videos on it. And so that's why it does the scan to make sure that there is enough content for it to pull from. If all you have are a couple of titles and maybe images and videos and media files on that landing page, AnyWord isn't going to have enough data to pull from. And it'll tell you that right here. So it's found quite a bit of stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and create this project now. Now here's where I wanted to kind of dive into what I've been doing in order to generate copy and headlines for my Facebook ads since my last video. Now, if you watched my last video, you will see that I highly recommended the creative mode. Under the default modes, the creative mode is the one that I liked best. I still really like that, so keep that in mind that does produce really good content. But what I have found is if you use all 4 modes and combine them to test some longer copies as well, those have been working really well for us. Now, in general, I have found that the shorter ad copies have been working better across different industries. But every once in a while, especially for higher ticket items like my program is, you will want to use longer form because depending on the price point of your product, you will want to use longer rather than shorter form because those will convert better if it is a higher price point. So in this example, let's go ahead and first create some creative ad copies. I'm going to say creative and let's use a keyword like automation. Oops, I didn't spell that right. Automation. And also let's say automations. And again, you'll want to keep in mind that these keywords will need to be entered in separately and not all at once with commas. So let's generate our copy for this. Okay, so now it has brought up all these copies for me. So let me quickly scan through them. One thing to keep in mind here, I don't necessarily go entirely by the score that AnyWord gives me for each of the copy variations. So what I do is I go through all of them, I scan through them, I pick out the ones that I like, that look promising to me, and I save them. And then once they're saved, then I actually pay attention to the scoring because it actually orders it based on the scores for each of the saved variations as well. So let me show you what I mean by that. So I don't want to really use manual labor. So I'm going to skip that one too. The future of automation, maybe this looks promising, so I'm going to save it. I'm going to use the little save icon here, and basically every time I save something, it's going to save it here up on top where it says saved. So let's say I want to use automate their sales processes. Let's use this one. Automation just got smarter. I like superpower. I like that word in general, so I like this one. And do more than just automate. Okay, so let's save these 4, right? Usually I spend a little more time on it. I go through each one in detail. I kind of see even if there's a part of something that I like, I save it, because what I do at the end of this, and you'll see how I do that, is I take these and I mix and match them. So I found that to be really, really effective. So let's now go to the list form, because for longer copy ad variations specifically, you definitely want to include a list somewhere on there. It's more eye-catching, it helps break up the text, and it's better for user attention retention. That's a tongue twister. So now let's go back and use list and generate some more copies. Okay, now let's go through which of these look good. Don't pay too much attention to the actual emojis. You can always replace those. But what's important is, do any of these lists break down what you're offering on your landing page better than others? So let's do, so I like this. This is a pretty good summary of everything I'm offering. So let's go ahead with this. I know this is a lower score, but trust me, when you mix it up with the creative mode and other modes which have higher scores, you get some pretty powerful ad copy. So I'm going to go ahead and save this one. And I'm also going to, so one thing you want to watch out for, and I really try and be careful of this, because if you can see this one, this isn't necessarily a bullet point, because you're talking about Chat marketing is the most powerful strategy. Talk to the bot has the most powerful chat bot. So these two are like reasons why you might want to join the membership. But then the third one is a call to action. It's not a reason why you would want to join. It is a reason. They've combined it with a reason, but it sounds a little off to me because it says join us and learn. That to me is a call to action and it deserves its own line. So I would maybe put this like down here if I wanted to use this, but I see some better options, so I'm just going to skip this one altogether. So let's do this one too. I really like this one. Okay, now I'm going to keep going. I'm going to generate some for the pain agitate solution version. Okay, so now let's see what we have. Scaling your business takes work. Wouldn't it be easier if you could automate? Absolutely. This is bang on. Working on your own business is tough enough, but now chat automation technology has taken things to another level. This is great. You see how you get some really good variations from each of these different modes. And so, oh, I love this one. I know it's a lower score, but I love this. So any hook, your hook is the first line in your ad copy, right? So any hook that dispels a myth or calls out something that is widely believed is really effective in writing ad copy. Now it needs to make sense. It actually needs to go with whatever you're offering on your landing page, but keep in mind that as long as it is in line, and most of this ad copy is coming directly from your landing page, so most of this will be in line, but something like this is super powerful because people, have a very confused perception of automation. And that's just something I've noticed in my business with my own students. And so this is something that I think is going to be really good. So I'm going to save this one, and keeping up with social media is a full-time job. Okay, maybe not that so much. This isn't a social media automation thing. So let's skip that one. Let's go and generate some more ad copy. Okay, so let's see. Now these, as you can see, are also more list-based, and these are great for short form. What I do is I actually use the copy that I get from this mode as my short copy variations to test. And what I like about them is that they are kind of like bullet points, but not exactly. So that's why they're so perfect for short form. And so I will grab a few of these and simply use them with more line breaks in between. You want to make sure to space out your text, especially when you're using just bullet point kind of lines, but which aren't actually bullet points. So something like this is going to be super powerful. And let's say these two, right? Let's say these three. Let's use all three of these. So now I have 3 short copy variations, and I have a bunch of stuff to play around and mix around for my long copy. So let me show you what that looks like. So you see how everything is now mixed up. All the different modes are now mixed up here, and they are ordered based on their AnyWord score. So what I'm going to do is actually first write out my short copy. So I'm going to copy this to clipboard since I have this open. Another reason why having this mode run the last is actually the best, because then you can grab your short form and then mix and match things to make your longer form copy. So in this one, let's say ad copy 1 is this. And what I meant by adding in more line breaks is simply this, right? I might come back and add more emojis later just to draw the viewer's eye to certain parts of the text. But for now, this looks great. Let's keep going. I'm going to copy this. And this is how I create super quick ad copy for myself and for all of my clients. It's been such a time saver. It usually takes me hours to create like 3 or 4 variations of ad copy for a single project or for a single campaign. So I'm going to copy this one next, add that in here. Then I'm going to do ad copy 3. And now I have my 3 variations for short form copy. Now, in case you're wondering, how do I use so many? Well, sometimes I will test them all in different ads, especially if it's for a business that has never run ads before. So for more in-depth testing and more control over each ad that you're running, you will want to plug these in as separate ads and test them with different creatives. But for a business that has been running ads and has had success running ads in the past already, what you can do with these is create a dynamic ad on Facebook. So you simply plug in all of your different variations for your headline, for your creatives, for your ad copy. Facebook mixes and matches them itself, finds the winning combination or combinations, and then puts your ad spend automatically towards that. The one disadvantage of using that though is that you have no idea which is the winning combination. So that's why only use dynamic ads for a business that is well established, where you're not trying to get data from scratch to see what's going to work and what's going to resonate with that business's audience. So hopefully that makes sense. And now I have my first three. I'm going to add my line breaks in here, right? I will add some emojis. So something that I do here, like for click here now, I will always add like a down pointing emoji. So I'm going to do that. And same thing here. Let's break this up. And there you go. So now I have 3 variations done for me. So now I'm going to keep going, and now I'm going to do some longer form. And I know these are hard to read, but I will come back eventually and put these in bold and also change the color, because then it becomes really easy to see how many ad copies I have and quickly come in and grab them. So you can see how that really shows me all the different copies that I have. But I'm going to come back and do that at the end. Okay, let's keep going and let's create our first long form. So now what I want to do is start with something where I really like the first line as my hook. So I'm going to say, I know that there's one that I really liked, right? So there are some really promising ones, but like this one, right? Automation is supposed to save us time, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put that in here. So again, I will want to break these up, but let's put them all on the same page. So I want this line to really stand out. I might even put this in bold and italics to really make it stand out. So let's say automation is supposed to save us time, except it sometimes feels like automation takes up more of our day than ever before. Okay, now before I give the solution, so you see how this has a good hook, and then we are saying something that we think or we know is going to resonate with our audience. And now I want to talk more about what they might be dealing with or the specific things that they're going to get as a part of the membership. So let's come in here. Let's find one of these. So let's say I like this one. I'm going to copy the bullet points. I'm going to come back in here and add this in. Actually add this in right after this part because it introduces the program here. I'm going to say what's included on the inside, right? So let's do that. And now I want to grab something else that talks a little bit more about my audience's pain point. So let's use this one. This one looks really promising. So you can see that this is going to end up being on the longer side. I will do some medium ones too, where I simply combine 2 and make a medium-sized copy, but here you can see I'm adding in 3 to 4 copies to make it really long. So I'm going to add that in there. And so now you want to see how it flows too. So obviously this isn't just simply plug and play. It can be, you can totally grab these and just use them as is, and there you have your ad copy, because whatever any word generates is actually based on tons of data and research, and they know what they're talking about when they put those scores in there. But just for my own creativity and what I have found works best for myself and for my clients, I actually like doing this because it makes for some really good copy tests and variations that I can go ahead and test and find what's going to work the best. So again, here now I have my hook, and then I have a call out, like I'm calling something out. We know that we're always trying to automate, but sometimes automation can feel like it's taking up our whole lives, right? And then I want to talk a little bit more about their pain point. And then I'm going to talk about how Talk to the Bot gives you the tools and support you need to automate upsells, follow-ups, customer engagement, and more with chatbots without having a developer or any coding skills. Then I can talk a little bit more about what it has, and then I can say what's included on the inside, right? And now all I need is a call to action. So I don't even have to use an entire copy. I'm just going to use one of the call to actions from here. So let's say I just want to use this. And because I'm using this not in the context that any word generated it in, you see how short this is supposed to be, a super short ad copy. It's super to the point. But since I'm using it as my end line, I'm wrapping up my long form copy with this, and I'm also putting in my call to action here, I can actually reword this, but use the essence of this part. So automation, if you want to learn more about how automating tasks saves time and increases productivity so you can focus on what matters most, sign up for Talk to the Bot today, right? And then I can put my little downward pointing emoji. Do that. And there is my long form ad copy. And again, I might go in and add some more emojis, but that's pretty much it. That's how I generate a long form copy, which usually takes me at least about an hour to come up with a good long form copy. You've seen how I did that in a mere matter of minutes. And that's it. It's really that simple. Now, you watched me generate ad copy variations of different lengths from short to medium to long, which I simply then take to my Facebook Business Manager or Ads Manager and plug in. Now, I do this in one of two different ways. Either I will go in and plug these in with different creatives, creating different ads that I will run as part of the same campaign in order to test and see which one is going to convert the best for me. But if I'm doing this for a business that has been around for a while, where people already know the brand, I will probably go in and create a dynamic ad instead, where I simply let Facebook do the heavy lifting for me. Now, what this means is that a dynamic ad will allow you to plug in different creatives and different ad copies, and Facebook will decide which one is the winning ad and put all of your ad spend towards that winning ad or winning ads, depending on what it finds. The only disadvantage of doing it this way is that you will not have the data that you need to be able to decide how to put together your next campaigns, because Facebook won't actually tell you which is the winning ad copy. So it's a give and take. You just want to make that decision for yourself based on what makes the most sense for your ad campaigns. If you have any questions at all, feel free to drop them in the comments section below and I will be sure to answer them there. Enjoy!